Okay, I'm having a bad hair day today, so you can see I'm wearing a ball cap. Sorry about the informality. We are in the satire unit in my AP English class, so I wanted to show you or demonstrate to you a satirical prompt. So if you want to take a minute to read it, I'll just read the instructions at the top. It says, the following announcement from a church bulletin was reprinted without other comment in a magazine under the heading, The Religious Life. By using that heading, the magazine implied a criticism of American values. Read the announcement carefully, then write an essay arguing for or against the validity of the implied criticism. So I will give you a second to pause it, read the bulletin, and then we'll go from there. So what I would do is, first thing I always tell my students is reread the key instruction words, try to zero in on those. And they are probably implied criticism. Okay, so it's you sort of read between the lines of the bulletin, see what they're criticizing, and then you're arguing for or against the validity of the implied criticism. So are you saying it's valid or not valid? And what they mean by that is it accurate? Is it truthful? Is it on point? Or is it not valid? Is it not truthful? Is it not accurate? Is it misrepresenting the American values that we hold? So if you go through the prompt, you'll see that it's clearly critiquing our decline in faith values or religious-based values. And the Super Bowl, which is a symbol of entertainment, not just a football game. I know Kendrick Lamar would agree with me, but it's a symbol of entertainment. Okay, take the halftime show or the commercials and all that. All that together, entertainment is trumping our faith or our religion. So if you agree, you're saying that's a valid criticism. If you disagree, you're saying, oh, that's not valid. Okay, so what I would do here is I would go back and I would say, flash, flash, flash. If you've seen the movie Gladiator, but it's basically they're in the Coliseum and it's fight to the death. And at the end, Russell Crowe says, are you entertained? You know, so that's where we're at, okay? And then I like to use although plus concession plus position. That's the formula I always use for my claim in the argument thesis. I want to get 1 point for thesis, so I'm going to say, although entertainment has brought people closer together in many instances in our modern American culture, that's the concession. The short answer is yes, it's valid. That's my claim. Our country is headed down a slippery slope of ignoring faith and values and instead is addicted to the dopamine from our screens. And I'm going to start right away with the concession and saying, yes, the church is adapting to keep up with the times. Okay, we live near a famous church here. It's called Saddleback Church, and it's one of the biggest in America. And they have a big screen. They have online. Okay, it's very modern. They have a band. One of my former students, his dad was in the band. Okay, very professional. So the church is adapting to keep up with the times. That's one argument, and I'm just going to concede that and say that they are using TV and they are using the internet to spread their faith-based values. But then I'm going to counter by using Fahrenheit 451 and screen addiction. So I'm going to use C&C, and I'm going to use the book Fahrenheit 451 and talk about Montaug's wife. Montaug's wife was addicted to her screens, if you recall from reading this freshman year. And that's where we're at in society. Montaug's wife is no different than most of us who are addicted to YouTube or Hulu or Netflix or our Amazon Prime or whatever the case may be. And so screen addiction is a big issue. So I'm going to use Fahrenheit 451, and I might even tie that dystopian novel to 1984 and the death of the values that did not exist in Oceania. Then I'm going to transition to a paragraph about the history of TV, and I'm just going to start with a show that my parents used to watch, which was I Love Lucy. It was black and white. It was a comedy. It's one of the first famous sitcoms. It's a married couple, always bantering, going back and forth. But the thing about I Love Lucy is there was no foul language. And even though they were married, they never really showed them in the bedroom. They thought it was taboo. Okay? And then talk about how today anything and everything goes on TV, whether we're talking about Netflix or YouTube or the internet or on cable television. So CNC, okay. Fahrenheit 451 is one of my books, and then I'm going to talk about the history of TV and tie that to our current culture in television and the addiction to TV. I remember testimony when my mom started watching Breaking Bad. She got so addicted. I would come home and she'd have her earphones in and she'd be watching on her iPad. We did not have a home-cooked meal. So I thought that was funny. My conclusion is, just as Rome fell, hook at the beginning, and the fights in the Colosseum, look how far we have fallen, all for the sake of entertainment. So a really good satire prompt, flash, 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 the implied critique of American values.